playing around with stuff. I'd gotten to the point where I needed liquid oxygen, which ended up getting me hooked up with the Sonoran Glass Art Academy down in Tucson, and I got stuck running their flame shop for about 7 or 8 years, which was both the best and worst decision of my glass career. Well, I mean, you learn a lot as a teacher. In fact, one of the best ways to learn something like what you'll get out of this class is go home and teach one of your buddies how to do it, because the difference between muscle memory and really memorizing what you're doing and being able to explain it to someone else helps you understand the process better. So I learned a lot from teaching, but you can only learn so much from teaching beginning beads, beginning marbles, which are most of the classes we were able to run down there. I got to take a lot of really good classes while I was working at the school. So most notably, the highest class I would recommend for any glass worker to take, especially you Boro workers, is a Lawrence Stump class, which is a 104 COE class, which will drive you all insane. But it'll teach you about the concept of what is heat, how do you use it, and really what can you accomplish with a material that you can do less than you can do with Boro. And if you get good at working a more challenging material and you bring that back into the realm of Boro, it opens up huge worlds of what really can be done. So about 2.5 years ago, I left the glass school. The whole time I'd been there, I was a good teacher, but I was a horrible glass worker. I wasn't actually making much of anything. So when I finally left about 2.5 years ago was when I started actually getting back to the torch, and I've been very happily torching ever since. And it's been kind of a race with myself. I feel like I really kind of lost out on the first decade of my glass career, and I've been trying to catch up with where I should be. So, and I've made some good progress there, but I've still got a long way to go. So when it comes to a lot of the stuff, there are plenty of guys out there that are better than me in just about every topic. What I really excel at is those creative solutions, ways to think around the problem and ways to make the glass do stuff that more traditional thought process won't allow for. So when it comes to anything specific, you can always find someone who'll do a cleaner weld, make a cleaner mini tube, this or that. But I'm one of the few guys out there that will put as much into it as I possibly can, just a ridiculous amount of prep. When you look at each one of these chips, they represent about 10 to 15 minutes after the millie has been made, just in terms of slicing and cold working. Right? And I can toss hundreds of chips into a marble. So depending on the scale of one of the 3-layer marbles like I'm doing tomorrow, I could use as few as 50 chips and as many as like 500. It really depends on what I'm trying to do and how big I want to go. And that's one of the things I really love about this, is that you can push it as far as you want to. So that's kind of a little bit about me and how I got going where I'm at now. But I'd love to go around the room and get everyone's name, get to hear a little bit about how long you've been torching and what kind of stuff you like to do. So which side do we want to start with? Who's feeling brave? All right.
I'm Jared Hammond. I go by Rebels Glass. I've been on the torch since 2009, 2010.
Okay.
I do a lot of opal work, mainly crushed opal, and make mini tubes, recyclers, clients.
Mixes in just fine with this. I stay away from opals because they're a little unstable, but if you can get it to work in your normal stuff, there's no reason it won't work with this.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I plan to do with it. That's kind of the goal behind it. I started working in Austin, and I've been predominantly self-taught. I worked with a few different artists, like SPG and a few other lathe workers and things like that, but predominantly self-taught. I've just been in my garage torching away. That's about it.
Heck yeah.
I'm Chris Stegall. I'm from North Carolina. I go by Steggy. Been at it for since 2008, but not really just here and there till 3 years ago or so. In my basement, trying to learn pretty much. Taking a few classes.
It's a pretty standard story. A lot of people get started somewhere small. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good way not to get misled by people with more experience. You come to someone initially who has a lot of experience, and they will teach you what they learned. What they can't teach you is what they didn't learn, and what they do teach you might shade what things you might learn later. So isolated starts are not necessarily a bad thing. When you don't know what questions not to ask, you're more willing to try stuff. And it's really the willingness to try and fail that allows you to find things that haven't been done and play with stuff in a new way. So it's good to be self-started, yeah.
Good to see that angle.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I'm Cameron Omer. I'm from Minnesota. I started in soft glass back in 2005. Still do soft glass. Started lamp working in 2011. So I mainly work out of my garage. I worked at a couple different studios.
Okay, so soft glass, you're talking furnace work then.
Furnace work.
Yeah, furnace work is fun. I've done some of that. It's good times.
Yeah. So just trying to combine everything I can. My company is Lady Slipper Glass. It's
Okay.
adult toys and jewelry.
Nice.
So I do that. I'm hoping to blend some of this stuff in there. But just getting on the rigs, mainly production is.
And there's no reason this technique shouldn't work as well in soft glass as it does with Bora. But like I said, soft glass is a little trickier to work. So yeah, it'll take some definitely adaptation to make it a functional transition. Yeah.
My name is Alex Mears. I go by Lex Luthor. From New Jersey. First got my torch in 2012 and took like a one-day course at a glassblower's house on the East Coast. And like being out in New Jersey, there wasn't much you could do to learn besides either go to like Salem or find a glassblower around. And I found a buddy who let me bring my torch to his shop and just let me go at it with all his glass and like scraps and whatever. And ever since then, I've just been melting. I moved out here recently. Got an offer to blow glass at a buddy's studio, and things sort of went sour. And they were, I don't know. We got into an argument, and yeah, I ended up.
That's when you find a new shop and you keep plugging away.
Exactly. I found a new shop with some homies from Chicago and Atlanta, and I've been working ever since, trying to get on that hustle. But, yeah, I'm excited to take this class.
I'm Z. Sorry, I didn't
No,
interrupt.
I was just going to say his work is ridiculous.
I'm Z, kind of just go by Z. I started in 2012. I'm from Atlanta. Just been kind of doing it at home for the first like 2 years, and then I went to AGI, which was my first class, and I realized that classes kind of help the learning curve a lot.
Yeah.
So since I've been trying to learn as much from other people.
Awesome.
And I mostly make like functional work right now, but trying to do a little bit more non-functional hopefully in the future.
Yeah, I mean, there is no right or wrong when it comes to functional or non-functional. I've played both sides of the fence. I mean, when I was at the glass school, I wasn't allowed to make pipes for 7 or 8 years, which is one of those reasons I had that gap in my career I was talking about. You know, and when I'd give the pipe demos, I'd have to immediately toss it into the water bucket and just, can't let them know that I'm showing you this. Yeah, which is always kind of funny. So, yeah, whether it's functional or just straight artwork, glass is awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm Chris. I've been melting since 2003. I've been working here for pretty much 3 years exactly this month. I work out of my house. I work for Chubby Glass out of Boulder. I work here part-time. I teach a lot of beginner classes here, and I make a bunch of functional artwork. It's ski season, so this is kind of my production season. Then come summer, that's when I make the new fun stuff. So it kind of transfers off. I just like to get my money and go ski during winter.
Well, out here, that's probably one of the better things to do.
Yeah, just got back yesterday from 8 days up in the mountains.
Nice.
So
Some of it has snow.
yeah, no, of course I think steamboat and the snow's 11 inches last night. Go figure.
Oh, man.
See, I'm still getting used to the snow thing. I mean, I've literally seen snow maybe 10, 11 times in my life. I've been down in the desert way too long.
Where are you from?
And Tucson.
Okay.
So I've been down there actually the whole time I've been working glass. So, yeah. It's nice to get on the road and get to see other places and really learn what it's like to work in different environments.
And if you guys have any questions, again, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to get tabs started for you guys or anything like that. That's why they pay me the big bucks. So.
Alright.
I'm Ben Ramsey, I guess. I'm local. I live down in Inglewood. I just work for a dispensary in town, growing lots of weed, but on my weekends I like to make marbles, so I have to do a lot of clear encasement, so I'm pretty excited to see what we can get out of this.
Very cool.
I'm Ginger Sanders, and I don't know if I want to say this out loud. I've been blowing glass since 1971.
Woo! That's awesome. That's heritage.
We didn't even really have Pyrex
Yeah?
at the time. And So we were so happy to get Pyrex, except there was like no colors.
71,
Yeah.
that's pre-North Star, that's pre-Troutman, that's pre-everything.
Everything.
There was 3
Gun
colors
mounts.
back then. You could buy the Pyrex dishes and get white and cobalt.
You could also buy those computer sticks that eventually became
Yeah, the
Boro.
cathode ray tube
Yeah,
stuff,
and
the
that
gun
was
mounts.
awesome. But I worked at that time. You only taught glass in families, or everybody was
Yeah, you
pissed
had to
off
keep
at you.
it really tight.
So my uncle taught me, and you were talking about infighting. Everybody fought with everyone over theme parks, and so every family, they all hated each other by the time it was
Right.
over with. So my uncle's kids didn't want to have anything to do with it because they were done with that. So he taught me, and I was the SeaWorld glassblower for 30 years.
Cool.
And then we moved up to Oregon. My uncle died, and we moved up to Oregon. And somewhere about 1995, before we moved up, I also got really into beads and marbles. And Harold Hacker's son and I used to
Right.
sit and make marbles. And well, actually, we got really big into fuming. Big. I can fume every color.
Definitely some of the
A
earliest
lot
color
of
application
titanium, a
stuff.
lot of tetrabutyl titanate, gold, silver, copper, platinum. But you're right. You only learn what the person ahead of you taught you, unless you go out and so I take classes from everyone because people assume after 43 years that I know how to do everything, and I know how to do penguins and dolphins and beads and hummingbirds.
And for those of you guys who have seen like Degenerate Art and you've learned a little bit of the history about lamp working, that's really where the big transition between the slow progress of people learning and that rapid ascent that kind of brought us to where we are now was when people stopped being quite so secretive
Exactly.
and started just teaching. Which is part of why I don't mind teaching ideas and concepts, because it's how I got to where I'm at, was from having learned from all the mistakes from the people before me. And if you get too secretive about what your techniques and tricks are, then how am I supposed to learn something new from some young gun that can take what I give them, do something with it that I never thought of, and then come back to me and say, hey, have you tried this? So actually, that's one of my great hopes out of this class, is that at least one of you guys is going to come back to me and teach me something new. So,
Well, it's sad because a lot of stuff died out. Period. It
Yeah.
just died off.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people.
If the person didn't give away
Yeah.
the technique before they quit or died or something else, it was gone, sometimes for good.
The person who was really good with their knowledge was Harold Hacker. He would teach you. He taught me how to make a kiln out of a dryer, and he just would teach you anything. But we raised 7 kids, blowing glass before the internet, traveling to fairs and harvest festivals and malls
That's a
and
whole
all
other
that.
circuit. I mean, you got the functional circuit, you got the marble circuit,
Yeah.
the bead circuit, but the Ren Fair circuit and the festival circuit is a different beast entirely.
But I decided beads were awesome because you could make like 10 times as much money than you could make a hummingbird. So
Yeah,
I
can't
settled
go wrong
mostly
there.
beads and marbles.
All right, well, let's keep it going.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm a total novice. I just moved here and I'm like fascinated with like Boro in general, and I just want to like try my hand at it, basically.
Awesome.
And I know you're like the Millie master, so I thought this would just be a cool class to take, even though I'm not good at it yet. Like,
Yeah, no,
like-
you can definitely learn a lot of concepts that'll be useful to you later on. So yeah, can't go wrong there. How long have you been torching?
I've only watched.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Everyone's got
Take my
to
class.
start somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I live around here, so that's like what I'm trying to do in my spare time when I'm not skiing.
Awesome. All right.
My name is Hayden, from Atlanta originally. Never blown glass before, so it's my first time as well. So, but yeah, I've been in your shop a couple times, so been in a few shops, so
Yeah.
looking forward to get on a torch.
Heck yeah. Awesome. All right.
My name is Evan. I go by Bear Mountain Studios right now. I've been blowing glass since like April 2013 is when I got my torch. Hope to get out of this class, just like learn